Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hello, everybody. How we doing today on this Monday? How are we feeling? Hopefully, we are feeling pretty good. Is everybody doing all right? Ramadan Mubarak to all the Muslims. Let's start with the super chats. Thank you so much. Steve H said, "What it is, beautiful peeps." Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you. Glow Hardy said, "You're a righteous woman. Love what you do." Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chats and the contributions. Hold on, I want to, y'all know, be having to do a little bit of housekeeping rather. Okay. All right. Thank you, Miss C, for becoming a member. Thank you so much. I got some good membership content on the way this week, so be in tune for that. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for joining the channel. So the theme for this week, we've got to talk about the attaching Black male leadership to his pocket. That he can't be a man. He can't be in real leadership. That Black women can't respect him. That the other qualities of manhood and masculinity don't count unless he's making a certain amount of money. Now, shout out to DJ Hamp from This Might Be Risky channel. I'm going to use a conversation that he hosted to illustrate my points, because listening to that, it's not that we've not heard it before, but I think we hear it, we comment on it, and then we sort of let it go. If that makes sense. Because it's a mindset, it's a thought pattern, it's a statement that is inflammatory and actually disrespectful to men. Men feel disrespected when these things are said. And I think our men, particularly when I say our men, I'm saying Black men, when they hear it, they don't go down into the depths of that because it's inflammatory. Because they're so disgusted with the mindset of it that they don't even want to hear no more. They don't want to hear no more. And then it's like we're gonna mine it out this week, to borrow Hamp's phrase. We're gonna mine it out. Because see, even this is, it only take it so far. It only takes it so far. That only goes so far too. Because we're gonna touch that. We're gonna touch this, right? This Pookie business. Cause see, I'm a little bit, I think these terms need to be redefined anyway, or the definition need to be solidified anyway in these spaces. And I wouldn't point that out to say that to speak badly on Brother David. It's just that it's a lot of things that's said in the so-called space that they got legs a long time ago, and then they just ran, and so they mean different things now. Because now we got I'm not going to spend too much time on it right now, but we got to redefine what's good. What is a good woman and what's a good man? We got to redefine that. That's got to be, the definitions of those things have to be solidified. Because is a man automatically a good man if he's not a drug dealer and if he's not like the lowest in society? Does that automatically make him good? Like, just like if a woman carries herself, in a certain way, and she got her education and she's not good just because of that. That doesn't make her good. That doesn't make her good. That doesn't tell us anything about her character. And I know y'all see this as well, right? Because a man having an honest job, all that tells us is that he got an honest job. Does that mean that everything about him is okay and in order? Exactly. Exactly. Because sometimes Pookie is just the guy that was raised in the hood. Sometimes he's just that guy in certain conversations. He's the guy that didn't go and get a higher education or whatever. Or in some conversations, Pookie is just the guy that's got his masculinity together, and it doesn't say anything about where his priorities are. Pookie is sometimes utilized as the guy that women want. And that's the other side of the coin. That's basically saying that the guy that women like gotta be a Pookie. Like, he can't be a man that's got his stuff together. That's almost like saying all the good women are ugly. She can't be sexy. If she's sexy, she's not a good woman. But if she's ugly and homely, she's probably a good woman. Like, how long are we going to play with these tropes and ideas that don't really fit real life? Yes, I did take it down because YouTube didn't like that video, obviously. But they didn't snatch it down. I was given an opportunity to take it down myself. So it wasn't reported. I just understood that it needed to come down. So we're going to talk about it because these things need to be talked about. I'm going to share we're going to share screen here. And I'm going to start it off because this is obviously almost a 5-hour live stream. So obviously we're not going to go through the whole thing. But the conversation that they begin to have surrounding respect of a Black man's leadership, things of that nature being tied to his income in the mind of Black women. And we're going to break that down. Thank you, Real Bravado. I mean, I was actually trying to say hi. And are you a member? It looks like it's green. Or is it just, oh, it looked like it was green. But how you doing anyway? So let's start the conversation off.
40 out of 100% of Black women in their range, and they don't need men. Men are no good, etc. Damn. Sean Brewer with the 2000s. How can you tell who is unfit for marriage? Mm-hmm. Sway was popping with the $5. Says DJ Hamp, salute to the panel. Topic dope for real. Smash that like button. MC Heavy Tits with the $5 says I don't agree with sis, but I think what you're saying is because Black women outnumber Black men percentage of being married would be larger than Black women. That makes sense. You think it would raise it by 8 percentage points though? 1 million more, maybe. Granville with the $5 says we can power New York City with clean energy for a week with all this windmilling. And then the Black Dragon with the $5 says Black men are fit for marriage but date outside to find fit wives. We play our roles as husbands. It's women that don't want to be wives. OMAC with the $5 says Black women is the last to be married and the first to get divorced. Get the likes up, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. All right, that was interesting. The money though, is that the make or break aspect still when it comes to a man? Like, can he measure up, have all these great qualities, but at 40K you just simply not checking for him? Is that still the law?
I think on his end, I feel like men think of themselves more than women think.
Well, let Dana go. What do you think, Dana?
You can't make 40K and date me. I don't even want to ring around the rosy with this shit.
Wow.
It's a firm no.
Wow.
Especially if, again, I'm a traditional person. So if I'm going to relinquish and submit, and if I'm going to concede, or if I'm going to make concessions rather, and you're going to make sacrifices, when shit gets real, what you going to do with your little 40K? How's that going to help us? How's that going to save us? What are you sacrificing?
No, 40K.
No. I ain't going to be able to do it.
Little 40K.
That's cute.
Oh my God.
Well, what if he knows how to manage that 40K, Dana?
There's nothing to manage, Nay. Is he going to eat? Are we going to eat? Am I going to eat? Or are we gonna sit in the dark? Like, what are you?
Listen,
it's
he
just
may
not
have good
reasonable.
budgeting skills with that 40K.
There's nothing to budget, Nay.
You're gonna be late on something.
Large. You're not getting a large.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Think about that. What's that? 40,000 divided by 12.
Damn, a lot of money. I was at that.
Math ain't math.
If they both are making 45K a year, that's 90. What is that?
$90,000 home.
Yes, that is
So-
enough money to live off of for two people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now,
That's enough.
it may
That's
not
not
be-
to live off of. That's not enough money for me to submit to you.
That's not the money for. Now, we're going to pause it right there. She said, because Ro brought up a point. She said, if you make 45 and he makes 45, that's 90. And 90 is enough to live off for two people. We're not talking about no kids, just two people. Your income, his income together. First of all, that's offensive to black men, black women, to think that the finances need to be together, right? They're offended by that. They don't like that. But aside from that point, she says it outright. She said, 40K is not enough. It may be enough to live off of, but it's not enough for me to submit to you. Now, after we get off the shock and the awe, because she really hit us with what we knew was coming. We got to look at what she's saying and understand a few things about it. Okay. First thing is, this only applies to black men. As we get further into this conversation, you'll come to understand black women's viewpoint when it comes to black men as a whole versus other men as a whole, or their concept of other men. Okay. Black women's concept of other men is that they are men. Black women's concept of black men is that, first of all, they are not men. They are beasts of burden there to serve her. So she's coming from two different places, black women in general, coming from two different places with the way in which they view black men versus other men. Other men are men because they're men. Nothing to do with their pockets. Black men are not men regardless. So this is why they need all of these extra requirements to sort of kind of be a man in the eyes of black women. All right. So white men, Mexican men, even African men, other men are men beyond their income. The next point. She's the next thought with this that we hear stated is that black women only have these standards for black men they don't like. How many of you have heard this be said? That when a black woman talks about what a black man, all that a black man has to do to be with her and to date her and this and that. A lot of times we hear, no, it just boils down to whether or not she likes that man enough to circumvent those rules. We heard about that, right? Now, that's only true up to a point. There's truth to it, but only up to a point. Okay? No matter how sexually attracted she is to a particular man, His ability to get her to submit, to tell her what to do, is still limited. Still limited. The men that you think are the men that she wants, and she want them so bad they can quote unquote tell her what to do. And she'll circumvent or she'll drop her so-called standards to be with him. That's only true up to about this much. He gonna have the same problem with her. It just come about a little slower because she like his aesthetic, or she like his energy, or she like his sex. Y'all have to understand this, the way hyenas think. The way hyenas think. Okay? Because what is submission to? Real submission is submission to a man's order, not to his penis. True submission is submission to a man's order, his system, order, and structure, not his penis, not his swag, not his aura. True submission is not based on that. Hyena submission can be based on that because it's not rooted in what submission is rooted in. Let's understand that. The reason why hyena submission is for sale and is conditional is because it is not rooted in where real submission is rooted from. It doesn't have the same origin. That's why it's conditional. That's why it's based on whether or not she liked the guy, whether or not he got money, whether or not he got drive a particular car, whether or not he did. See, their submission, which is false, is rooted in the concept of the lost value system. And we're going to get into that in a second. We're going to get over there to him in a moment. All right? Because the man that she's attracted to, exactly. The man that she's attracted to, that, ooh, and you see her, he ain't got to have this and he ain't got to have that. And you be trying to figure out, well, why come I had to have it? And why come he don't got to have it? I'm telling you why right now. I'm telling you exactly why. It's not even the foolishness she telling you. It's deeper than that. Okay? His ability to tell her what to do is limited. She never gives true submission because she doesn't understand the source of real submission. Because she doesn't understand the source of real submission, or she disregards that source because she don't live a life like that, her lust is only gonna take it so far. Once he starts, the man that she liked and head over heels for, if he start giving her too much order, she's out of there. He gonna get the same problem that every other man get because he's applying too much order. It doesn't work with hyenas. I know men that got all the quote unquote swag and he got the little money or whatever, and he has to put her in check, quote unquote, through sex. He's got to dominate her and control her and, do this dominating sex with her. calm down her attitude with some D, the act right sex. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the act right sex. You wasn't acting right, so I got to break you down real quick in this bedroom. Because that's the only way that you can even temporarily corral a hyena. She's only temporarily corralled like this. That worked for a little while, and then you got to go back and re-up. Because she act up in order for you to do that, because she's not listening to the order. She doesn't want the system, order, and she doesn't want that. And you're trying to give her that. And the only way that she even stick halfway to any of it is because you're breaking her back in that bedroom. You're knocking sonic rings out of her in this bedroom. Okay? But it's problematic anyway. She's problematic anyway. We're going to get down to, because there's much, much more. But I want to hit a commercial break. I'm going to come back, read the super chats, and we're going to continue this cook because this is important. But after these messages, we'll be right back, because I need everybody to go right now to ashkicking.com and get some of the best body butter on the market. If you're trying to keep your skin looking, feeling, smelling its best, soft and all nice all day long, then I don't know what you're waiting on to go to ashkicking.com and go ahead and pick up your body butter. And not only do they have body butter, they have a whole line of personal body care, incense, all of the things to get your vibe right and get your mind right and get your body together. If this is your first time going to get an order, first of all, you need to hurry up and you need to take advantage of the 10% discount off of your first order using the promo code Crimson. So definitely click the link pinned at the top of the chat for ashkicking.com. I don't know how many likes I need, but I know I owe y'all a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button, bam, bam. You got to go ahead and hit the like button for me. Let me get to these super chats also. Thank you so much, Hebrew Negro Roots. Shout out to Kendra. Thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Lou Casely, for your super sticker. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Thank you, Ramel, for your super sticker as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Devon. Said Black women want Black men's money for submission. So do Black men charge Black women for protection, problem solving, and emotional labor they give? I say yes. Thank you so much to Renzo. Said little do these females know they are making themselves out to be the face of prostitution, yet still no one knows how it became a profession on a psychological level before becoming a physical action for money. Exactly. Thank you so much. And thank you so much. Ruminant said hyenas don't submit to any man, even Zaddy. This is true. This is what people don't really get. He's not getting submission either. He's getting a little bit of cooperation, but it's to her own end, or so she thinks. I've heard a lot of men say this. Anatomic says even the breaking of her back after a while, especially if you enjoy breaking backs like me, comes a time when one feels used. I'm telling you, because they are using Black men. Black men, in the eyes of the general body of Black women, is nothing more than a penis and a wallet. Y'all are bucks. You are beasts of burdens, good for breeding, good for some money, good for service. Nothing more. Nothing more. You are pets and dogs and oxen. Because your value as a man is irrelevant to her. It's irrelevant to a hyena. She don't care who you are as a man because everything is rooted in the lost value system. We're going to get there in a little bit. I'm going to break that down. But for now, let's go back. Okay. Because a lot of this was actually, I'm going to let some more of this play. And then I'm going to start skipping ahead.
Meaning with all that other stuff, 1 through 3, that would be good.
So I'm going to pause it and I'm going to read because this is something that he was referring as this conversation was going on. So what this says is what wives want in a husband. This was written by someone else. And it lists 5 main things. Affection. Can you touch me and make me feel connected? Number 2 is conversation. Can we share our world with one another and have fun, stimulating, deep conversations with one another often? Excuse me. Number 3 is openness and honesty. Can you open up about your shortcomings as a man and your own mistakes? Can you possess great character? Number 4 is financial security. Can you decrease her emotional anxiety about finances, savings, lifestyle? Can you free her mind from the stress of bills, savings, emergency funds? And number 5, family commitment. Can you be a great family man, great husband, father, community, etc., in addition to being great at business? Now, it later does go into what husbands want, but I wanted to read that out to you just in case it goes away too fast. And this is what they're referring to when they start saying, well, if he's got 1 through 3, and if he's got, that's what they're saying. Okay. That's what they're saying. I beg to differ, Miss Jaleesa. Men know what they want. Men know exactly what they want. And men tell women what they want all the time. Men tell women what they want all the time. And they behave as if they want it. Right? I would posit that women don't like what men say and therefore have a tendency to dismiss the things that men are saying. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Men say that they like, and particularly black men we're talking about, black men will say, we like our women natural. And then sometimes black women, I've heard say, no, black men don't, because they will go to Instagram and things of that nature, and they will like pictures of women who have BBLs and women who are made up and, you know, got the weave on and blah, 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 and things of that nature. So they must not like women who are natural presenting and they don't have BBLs and they're not wearing the lace fronts and things of that nature. And then men say, no, actually we do. Because when we want to settle down and give our commitment to a woman, it is typically not to the woman with the IG aesthetic. We actually are going for women who would be considered average or who would be considered natural. Now, despite men saying that and actually acting on that, because I've seen that happen, because a lot of the women that are married, they don't look like IG models. And they don't even be wanting to look like IG models. That's not even something that they strive for. Most people are average looking anyways. So women would be like, no, but you give the attention. And I think that these things are rooted, Miss Jaleesa, in women not really understanding men psychologically. One thing that women don't seem to grasp is men's sexual attention versus their relationship attention. It's different. To him, it's different. There's his sexual attention, which he'll give to anything walking. And then there's his relationship attention that he's more particular about. Right? And that's just as an example. And then another thing that I found is that sometimes Black women, and I'm in keeping with the example of the natural thing, sometimes Black women will be like, oh, well, you don't like natural, but they'll show up unkempt. And then when the men don't like that, they will see you didn't like natural. I think Black women have to revisit a lot of what they think about themselves, because it's a lot of Black women that think natural means unkempt. It's a lot of natural women that think they have being wild and their clothes being whatever and them showing up however is natural. That's not, nobody said natural means that you are unkempt. And I've seen that in a lot of instances. Like Black women will show up and they won't have themselves put together. Just because you're not put together with a lace front and a BBL and blah, 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 and lashes, just because you're not put together in that way doesn't mean you're not put together. Because I don't have none of that. And I'm put together every day. When I step outside, I'm all the way together. I'm always presentable. You see what I'm saying? So I wasn't trying to point you out, Miss Jaleesa, to like go back and forth or anything. But I saw that comment and I thought that this was a good time to have a little bit of dialogue and a little bit of clarification. But in any case, so I hope that I wasn't offensive or anything. Just talking to the sisters. So anyway, let's go back. So this is what they're referring to when they say, oh, if you got 1 through 3 and blah, 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 blah. So I want to go ahead. I want to kind of speed up a little bit. This is such good conversation. I hate to actually go past some of this stuff. I really do. But I got to get past it for the sake of the conversation.
I want to ask her this real quick. Isn't it? I would surmise that he's making 40, right? So he can't give you number 4. But if he can give you 1 through 3, I would argue that you ain't struggling. And then I would argue conversely that if you got 4 and didn't get 1, 2, 3, or 5, you struggling.
I agree.
I'm just trying to understand the premise of money. Go ahead, Rose. Sorry.
And that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, Dana, because I when I think of struggle love, I think of James and Florida Evans. Okay, like James, we didn't know when he worked. We knew that periodically he worked. We knew that he had to go all the way to Alaska, got killed, and he had to, I think that if like Hamp said, if you can get 1 through 3 and he's making, and I'm not trying to change your mind, what I'm saying is,
why?
If we are good, because that's what she wants.
Change the mind.
If we're talking about, because I think you were the ones that said you only want a Black man, right? If you only want a Black man, you know that their income only goes so far and you don't make the average income. And if the average income is like Hamp said, $50,000 a year, that's not going to compare to what you make ever.
Then in that case, then we're full circle in the conversation. I would rather be single.
And so then we go back to the original statement earlier of it is a choice. It is a choice out of not receiving what you feel that you need, that you have decided that you're going to remain single.
I just don't want to, I mean, we're talking about it right now because Hamp asked the question. I don't want to make it seem as though that is the number one thing that I look for when I'm seeking a mate. Okay, that's not it. The other things are paramount. They're very, very important. Okay, so I just want that to be known as well. That's not the number one. It's not the first thing, but we're not going to act like finances are not important, huge in relationships, and they're number 2 cause of divorces in the country. So we have to have those discussions, and we have to be more comfortable being uncomfortable talking about our finances and talking about what we want and accepting, setting the bar a little bit higher and being okay with it and not downing people for not, I'm not saying that any of you are, but not looking down on people who have a certain expectation because you're accustomed to a certain life or you want to have a certain life. That's
First of all, that was a lot of babbling. I just got to keep it a bean. That was a lot of babbling. Some of what I skipped, I'm going to go back over because I did intend on this being like a 2 or 3-parter. This is the theme of the week. Black men's leadership being tied to his pockets exclusively. She brought up finances being like the number 2 thing that lead to divorces. And these women will have you thinking that it's because the men are broke. The reason why finances are problematic in marriages. They'll have you thinking that because men are broke, that's where the problem is at. The thing that they don't want to talk about is it doesn't matter if he's broke or not. Didn't we just get through talking about the woman that stole $47,000 from her husband over the course of like 6 years, 8 years rather, because they was married like 8 years. Actually, she stole almost 60. Okay. 47 is just what she had left when he looked. So he had money enough. He had enough money. But money's going to be the cause of their demise, not because he was broke, but because these women nowadays have zero concept of what money is for in a relationship. Now we're going to talk about their concept of submission being rooted in the lost value system. I'm going to bring it full circle for you a little bit. This is why it doesn't matter how much money he actually has or doesn't have. And it doesn't really matter how attracted she is to this man or not. Because her submission is rooted in the lost value system. What am I talking about? It's rooted here, where wealth and leisure and profession and education are sitting at the top. It is also skewed, meaning that the values themselves are viewed with a backwards lens. So we're not talking about having any of these things in any sort of balance. We're not talking about balance. because there is a balance, but hyenas are not talking about balance. They are completely imbalanced, because a man's spirituality, his health, and his family, his internal values are only valuable if they're monetized. This is why she had to come back and try to say that, well, the other values matter as well. It's just that, and she had to go back to the money, because his spiritual value, his manhood, his leadership, his health, his family, his appearance, his dwelling only means something if it's monetized. Do we understand? So she doesn't think much of his spiritual core as a man unless he's got money. She doesn't think much of his health as a man unless he got money. She doesn't think much of his family value and what he thinks about family, and maybe how his family is, or what kind of family he wants, or if he's a family man at all, or if he, none of that matters unless there's money. Doesn't matter what his dwelling situation is unless there's money. So the internal values are attached in the lost value system. Internal values like spiritual, health, family, appearance, and dwelling do not mean anything unless you can monetize them in some way. Unless the wrong idea of wealth is attached to it in some way. Because it's rooted in the lost value system, there is an imbalance in the concept of income and money and wealth as it pertains to a marriage. Is income important in a marriage? Yes, it is, because we got to live. We live in a world of means. Stuff costs money. Right? Stuff costs money. There's rent or a mortgage, there's cars, there's food, there's clothing, there's shoes, there's utilities. There are the things that we need to live in this society and at least be halfway comfortable. Right? But there's balance. There's balance. A lioness doesn't want to be with a man that does absolutely nothing. Because before he can do it for me, he got to do it for him. Right? We've got to be able to see his order. But his order in the eyes of a lioness is not dominated by his income. Because a man with a high income can be chaotic emotionally, internally, not with a good spiritual system. So his morals and all of that can be compromised at some point. Doesn't really have a solid sense of principle and things of that nature. In other words, his ability to provide system, order, and structure is questionable. So the money doesn't really mean much to a lioness, because we are submitting, our submission comes from what is rooted in the spiritual value. Now we bring it all the way full circle. A lioness's submission is not rooted in the lost value system. Our submission is rooted in the spiritual value. A lioness's concept of submission is rooted in the spiritual value. We know the Most High, what the Most High wants from us, what the Most High wants from us. Before our husbands want it, we know what the Most High wants. Following me? We know what the Most High wants first. So the submission is rooted in the spiritual value, not the wealth value. That's why lionesses can't be bought. We don't sell our femininity. We don't sell our submission because it's not for sale. Would we like to have some security financially? Of course, we're women. And women always look for security in the financial realm. Women always look for that. There's no such thing as a woman that don't look for that. Lionesses look for security all the time. It's just that security for us is not 100% or even 90% in his income. It's actually in his spiritual value. Because we know that if we get a lion with proper spiritual value, we will be led properly. That is secure. Because the first thing we got to secure is us. I as a lioness cannot submit to a man with improper spiritual values. Can't do it. Because if his spiritual value is not proper, he can't lead. He can't lead him. He gonna be in all kind of chaos and mess all the time. 1 second. He gonna be in all kind of chaos and mess. He can't lead. Spiritual value jacked, which probably means his health is jacked up in some kind of way, which probably undergirds his family, how you think about that. Oh, no. If his spiritual value is not intact, he can't be checked. He sees himself as not having any authority over him, right? Because I'm not the authority over him. Who's the authority over him? I'm not the authority over him. So who do he look to for order? Who is he? Where's his principles at? What code do he live by that's unshakable? Because he can't get that from me. He got to get that out of his spiritual value. And if his spiritual value is all messed up, if he can't articulate where his principles come from, I can't deal with it. He got to be able to articulate where his principles is coming from. Because see, for a lioness, yeah, he might look good. He might have a couple of dollars. All of that is enticing. It's enticing to a lioness as well. But now we got to get down to the nitty gritty. And the nitty gritty for a hyena is his money. A nitty gritty for the lioness is who he is as a man. That's in your spiritual value. Because see, if you don't respect the Most High, you can't respect me. You can't. Because a lioness is putting her entire life in his hand. How I'm going to put my life in your hand if you don't put your life in the Most High hands? Where your guidance? That's what submission is. for a lioness, submission is my whole life. I'm submitting it under you. So that means we become one. Your leadership is the leadership. Your word is the last word. But that needs every authority needs a check and a balance. Every authority needs a check and a balance. Who's the check and a balance? The Most High. He's the check and a balance. Because if you go off the rails as a man in the disobedience of the Most High, I got to be able to tell you, wait, baby. The Lord didn't say that. And I can't follow you in disobedience to God. I can't do it. If God can't check you, nobody can check you. And if nobody can check you, you're a tyrant. I'm not dealing with it. So there ain't no higher authority to you. Oh, no, sir. No, sir. So ain't no higher authority. Oh, okay. I got to be able to crack a book somewhere, a Quran or something, and show you, hey, babe, no, this is we got to go this way, beloved. The book say this here. And I gotta see you submit to the Most High. You gotta submit to the Most High. That is where submission is for a lioness. The root of submission for a lioness is in the spiritual value, not in the wealth value, not dictated by how much money he have or how much money he don't have. Because it's just money. We can always get that. We can always get that, baby. We can always put two heads together and get a couple of dollars. Why we can't get a couple of dollars? Why we can't do that? Why we can't get together and get a couple of dollars? We can't get together and get a couple of dollars. The dollars is that hard to get, little fiat money that hard to come by? If we don't like making $45,000, let's make some more. Because if we have the Most High behind us, like we said we do, he don't care nothing about that money. He give y'all the money. He gives some of the most evil people in the world a ton of money. Money is not hard when you know where to go get it. Money ain't hard to get when you know how to go get it. It's at the same spot all the time, really. We think money hard because we value it too much. And hyenas count men's pockets because they want to live this life that's on Instagram. I just want to travel the world. You know, you ain't even going to the next state hardly. Like, travel the world. Sit down. Sit down somewhere. Ain't nobody going on vacations like that. No how. What is you talking about? Yeah, I just want to be able to take vacation. You know how many vacations is taking? That's why the leisure is in the lost value system, because it ain't no limit to it. Leisure is supposed to be a recharge so you go back to work. Whatever that work is, because it's different kinds of work. Whatever that work is, the leisure is there for the recharge, to replenish, to reconnect, and then come back at it. It's supposed to have a limit to that. What do you want to vacation your whole life? Like, what's wrong with y'all? You know, in the lifestyle I want to live. You know what I mean? Okay. That don't mean nothing but I want to be able to shop on Amazon and Wayfair when how I'll get ready. A lot of that stuff is cap. A lot of that stuff is cap. They just want to be able to go on Amazon and stuff like that. And go on them little carnival cruises. You know, it don't even take that much money to do it if you plan it ahead. And I mean, it ain't nothing wrong with a vacation or so. You know, I mean, it ain't nothing wrong with that. But, you know, trying to live up and keep up with these little Instagram vacations, y'all need to go sit down somewhere. And then talking about, well, he got to make 6 figures. A lot of that show a lot of you don't even know how the money work, even when you making the money, because up to a certain point, that ain't enough money either to live how you think you're supposed to be living. Making $120,000, $130,000 or so, not enough money to kick your toe up and rub your feet together every 3 months. That's not enough money for that. I hope y'all know that. That ain't enough money for that, especially when you got all kind of inflation and an egg is $15 an egg. You want to rub your feet together every 2 weeks. No. Study booking them little cruises, them little 2-day, 3-day little cruise. You want to go down to the Bahamas. Y'all really be thinking y'all really be doing something with that. Go down to Jamaica to lay on them little rafts in that little dirty river and have somebody to fill on your booty. That's what we talking about. Those are the trips. You don't have good sense. Y'all in your 30s and 40s and don't got good sense as to know when something is a fantasy or not. All that stuff ain't on Instagram is not real. That's the skit. Y'all be trying to front and gaslight like videos showing how stupid y'all think is a skit. No, the skit is, you know, going somewhere in the jungle. Y'all will be icked out in the jungle anyway. Y'all ain't going on no hike because y'all scared of bugs. You ain't going on no hike because you don't want nothing to land on you and fly. Okay, stuff be crawling. You be mad. You don't want to go nowhere where it's a waterfall, and then you get in a little water, because we black folk and we don't like bugs and stuff like that. It get too hot. We want to stay in a hotel room under the AC. And we'll order some room service till it get about evening, and it cool off a little bit. Then we walk down and stuff like that. You want to walk down to the little beach and stuff. We don't like nature like that. It's got to be under control. Trying to act like you really trying to go somewhere. Half of you ain't been to the other side of the United States. Y'all know it's real. You don't want to go, y'all don't want to go down, where it be too hot. And you heard that, that the roaches is not the little brown ones be in the house. They be them cucarachas that fly and all that. Y'all be scared. You ain't going nowhere. What you think down in them islands? Y'all just want to go somewhere different and do the same stuff you do in the States, drink and twerk. Y'all better get out of here. Excuse me. Let me get to the rest of the super chat. Thank you, Anatomic Health and Fitness, for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Thank you. H. Lewis said, I left the woman because she reduced to a sex toy and a wallet, and she couldn't wrap her head around that. And pro to call me a narc. Thank you, Condemned Man said, we like and want our Black women all natural. Say it again, sis. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gregory. So I think BGS hit the target. Black women were never our women, all the way back to slavery. We as Black men can fight that all we want. Thank you, Detorian said, women don't understand men's nature, psychology, and behavior. They think looks and sex is the answer to everything. Thank you. There I said it. Said Lady Crimson, salute. Chicago Channel, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you, sweetheart, for your support. Thank you, Blue Exodus. Said this panel is a great passport bro ad. Thank you, Pastor Sugar Daddy. So I'm tired of dry begging. Thank you again, Pastor Sugar Daddy. Said passive aggressive prostitution. They act like, but don't want to be treated like. Thank you, Dilio7, for becoming a YouTube member of the channel. I appreciate you. Thank you, Mark Fuller. Said Jamaica Raft, Wayfair, and Sonic Rings. Oh my, hey, it's what they got going. I did see Hamp in here at one point. Shout out to DJ Hamp. Shout out to Ricky. I seen you at some point in the chat. I was just on a roll, sweetheart. Now, sometimes I don't be wanting to stop. But in any case, I'm going to get on out of here. This is likely going to be a part 2 because there's a lot more in this conversation that I wanted to point out. Okay. But for now, I want you to jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, is the Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.